when we say, you think of freebie as free TV or free ride, that's not limited to freebies. Freebie is anything which segment of the population is going to get, which is very costly for everybody else. Very costly. And what do I mean by that? In every state budget, we have something called development expenditure and non-development expenditure. So what is major non-development expenditure? How much states spend on pensions? How much they spend on servicing of past debt? After all, many of them have taken a lot of loans. And you do borrow to run your affairs. How much of the state budget are you spending in just returning loans? And then the third aspect of non-development expenditure is administrative, just running of the state affairs. Wages and compensation, how are you going to run the state? Policing, etc. So those are the three major non-development expenditures. This is pensions as a percentage of the development expenditure of every state. Now, that red line everywhere you are seeing, that is the all India average. Okay? Sabse pehle what I want you to appreciate is, before the year 2000, the reforms happened around 2002-03. Before that, do you see the red line rising sharply? The reason pension as a percentage of development spending rose very sharply is because we did not have reforms then. Pensions just started to become more and larger part of the budget was being spent on pensions. That's when under the NDA 1 pension reforms happened and every state then adopted it. After that, do you see the red line which was escalating then began to stabilize? So pension as a percentage of development spending fir stable hua. Fir it has begun to rise. But the action is where you look at different states. Look at Gujarat. Gujarat ka pension dekhiye as a percentage of development, it is still under the all India average. Look at Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is, you see the blue bars which are much ahead of the all India. Look at Kerala. Kerala is spending so much on pensions as a percentage of development. Look at Punjab. Punjab is at the bottom. By the way, the ranking here is, states are ranked by the long-term growth that they have had in the last 30 years. So Gujarat has been the fastest growing state. Then you have Tamil Nadu and so on and so forth. Look at Punjab. Do you see? They are so much higher than national average. The pension commitment is too large. It's unsustainable. So what you're going to see in terms of pensions, and they have also reversed it. So when states begin to commit to this kind, and why do I call this a freebie? Well, it is technically not as a part, the basket which you think of as freebie, but on an average, 5% of the population in a state is engaged in government jobs which gets these pensions. And development spending kisko jata hai? It's to everybody else. So development spending has to do with economic development spending and social development spending. Health, education, rural infrastructure, waterways, all of those things, agriculture, everything is under development spending. So when you spend more on pensions for 5% of your very well organized public sector people, employees, it is coming from the development spending of the state. So when you cut down on health, education, roads, agriculture, irrigation, etc., it is cutting down on long-term growth for the sake of that very small 5%, but much, they're very well organized. They're all government employees. So this is a huge distortion. And as you see states going back and bring in the old pension, this is a huge problem. Because the reforms clearly showed that states were able to sustain it only on account of the reforms. If you're going to do away with reforms, and you're going to regress, it is going to be a race to the bottom. Only for short-term political or electoral gains, we are giving up on long-term economic growth. And as I sensitized you right in the beginning, we have a long way to go, folks. We are at $2,200 per capita. We are by no means affluent to make these kind of foolish mistakes. We cannot. Okay? So pension is one. This is capital outlay. In fact, my next article is going to be on this. What is capital outlay? How much money is a state spending on long-term capital formation? Again, it has to do with bridges and roads and schools and hospitals, long-term capital expenditure. Look at Gujarat's spending. For a fast-growing state, it is investing a lot in the capital formation of the state. So their infrastructure is improving by leaps and bounds. Relatively, you see what is happening now. Tamil Nadu has slowed down. It's already now around all India average. Telangana is doing very well. Haryana, it's raising it further. So it's a good thing for Haryana to be escalating its capital expenditure. Kerala, do you see what is happening in Kerala? For the Kerala model that we talk about, which is good development outputs, no? Health, education, but it's all coming from, a lot of it is coming from, first of all, 70-year-old cultural revolution that the state had, and the Travancore king and all of those. History matters, folks. History is not made in one or two regimes. It is made over decades and centuries. Keralites, I grew up in Kerala. Kerala is enjoying the investment made in health and education 75, 80 years back. Today it is falling short. In fact, the national spending of development capital outlay, you see the red bar, it is much above where Kerala's expenditure is. So now today when you drive around Kerala, the roads of Kerala are not a comparison to either Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. There is like a discrete decline in quality. So what you hear and read in the news is just convenient narratives. The reality is when you look at the numbers and you begin to worry, कि फिर long-term growth आएगा कहाँ से? Right? And I'll keep going back to some of these states. Punjab again. Punjab, look at barring one odd year when some scheme must have happened, Punjab is resolutely much below the national average. Look at West Bengal. There is hardly any capital outlay. फिर long-term growth कहाँ से आएगा? If you're not going to invest in capital expenditure and improvement, long-term growth, this is the best indicator of long-term growth. So from this, I can also predict what are the states that are going to continue to not grow at a time when we are still $2,200 per capita. So ये जो variation है, you can predict how much is it going to increase. Who are the folks that are going to race ahead? Who are the folks that are going to fall behind?